Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Mayberry, and I have to tell you, working with Lee Cockerell for so long has ruined me. And I'll explain why. Is now when I see someone or a business doing something they shouldn't, I just think, okay, you need to talk to Lee Cockerell. This is not the right way. Let me set you up for this situation, Lee. I live in a small town. It's not that well known for having good customer service. So this is about what we expect anyway, where I live. But I walked into a place at 4:34 p.m. And what I'm greeted with is we close at 5.
Uh,
So I feel like this is going back to the basics, Lee. We've talked about this so much over the years, but not everybody is listening and not everybody's getting it. Now, I don't expect they listen to Creating Disney Magic, but if they did, Lee, explain to us how those interactions matter, that you perhaps shouldn't say we close at 5 when someone walks in.
Sounds like they wish they'd closed at 4 before you showed up. And, these customers come in here and bother us, and we want to go home. I mean, it's the same old story. Professionalism, we talk about this all the time. If you want to make sure that doesn't happen, you have to have standards, you have to have clarity, you have to have training, and you got to have people understand clearly. We would never say something like that. It's nothing negative, nothing to make a customer even think about not wanting to come back and spend money with us and to do things. And that's the problem. If you got a problem with your business and service and attendance and attitude, well, that's your problem because you created it. You're not being clear. I always said, if you got a problem with your kids, that's your fault. Yeah, I mean, it's you just got. I mean, again, I think I love the word clarity more every day. Every time I'm going about to do something, we talk about clarity. Are we all on the same page? Do you understand working here? Here's how we work. When a customer is making you crazy and really upsetting you, you still stay professional. You smile. We don't engage in anything. Our only goal is to make them happy. We want the repeat business. We want them to go out into the marketplace and tell everybody how great we are. You had a serious problem, but they took care of it. The customer can do anything they want, but not you. We stay one place, professional, focused, giving service, taking care of problems, helping people. And even if we can't help them, or they are being, we even if we had to have a conversation with it, it'll be in a very professional way of saying, listen, I'm sorry we couldn't help you. I understand you're upset. I wish I could do more for you. Here's one thing I can do. I can get the boss. He'll be in a little while. I can have him call you. But I just, I'm sorry. For what you want right now, I just cannot do it. I don't have the authority to do it, or I don't have the ability to do it. And so, but we do appreciate you. I hope this gets worked out to your satisfaction, and I hope you come back. I mean, there is no upside to not being professional. It can only go downhill for you personally. When you get into an argument, you'll end up saying something you wish you had not said. You don't know who you're speaking to. You don't know who they are, what their association is. You could be talking to the newspaper for all you know, and they're going to put that story tomorrow. So it's just, best saying is just be professional. That's the name of the game. And, I mean, we want that in every business. I want the surgeon to be professional. I want the school teacher to be professional. And one of the main reasons that people are not professional is anxiety and stress of dealing with life. And the next time they come into uh, a situation with another human and they kind of lose it because they're having a bad day or bad family life or they're not feeling well or all. And I think the business has just got that huge responsibility to say, do you understand what I just told you? This is how we work. and explain to the kinds of things that are going to happen. You are going to have customers that make you crazy. You're going to have customers that call you names. You're going to have customers that are relentless and pushing you and shoving and threatening you and telling you all the things they're going to do. And all you do is stay professional. You don't react to those things. You show empathy, you show concern, but you stay professional. We're not ever going to win. We don't want to win arguments with our customers. We may end up at the end of the day having to settle for whatever we decide to do, and that'll be a policy, a procedure, an operating guideline, a decision that'll be professional. We'll never raise our voice to a customer. We'll never threaten a customer. We'll never tell them, get out of here. If you get to the point you got to throw them out of the store, you probably ought to call the police because that's pretty serious, and you probably don't want to engage in that because people are, you never know what's going on with them mentally, and there's a lot of anxiety today. People are upset with traffic, they're upset with their life, they're upset with their finances, they're upset with three other things happened today, and they just happen to come in your store and you're the last one and you get it all. It comes, they feed it all to you. So this is just this is in your control. If you're the business owner, it's in your control to make sure you're clear, you have standards, and people understand what they have to do and what will happen if they don't. And if you're an individual, you'll find your life will go much better and you'll have a lot more success and people will trust you and you'll have more friends and family, and you'll sleep better. Don't let it get to you. That old saying, don't let the turkeys get you down, man. It just do your thing, be pleasant, and you see this all the time. You see it on TV, you see it on policemen getting outraged, uh, drivers getting stopped for a ticket and going crazy. And next thing you know, they get arrested when all they would have just got a ticket. I mean, it's like, uh, okay, just stay cool, stay calm. And I always say, let it go. You let it go. And when you do that, nothing's going to surprise you. If you're out on the highway and somebody's racing around the car and being crazy, just let it go. Don't worry about it. Don't engage, because emotionally you will have a worse day when you get upset. And you'll say things you shouldn't say. You'll do things, you won't be paying attention to your work. You'll make mistakes at work because that's going to be on your mind. And you gotta train yourself to stay cool, calm, and collected. This because the world is rough, and every day when you get up and go out there and get in the car and head out to life. Life is just waiting to annoy you to death, and you can't let it. You got to win, and when you take that attitude, you will. When you start saying, "Okay, I'm not going to get upset about this. That's it. Let it go. There's no advantage. There's nothing for me in it. Why should I do it? Why would I do it? To get 5 seconds of satisfaction that I just told somebody to jump in the lake? It's not worth it. And it creates bigger problems downstream. Downstream, you might end up getting yourself fired. Just stay cool, calm, collected, stay professional, and you'll just do fine. And in every situation, because your life is full of obstacles and you're going to have them every day, and don't let them get to you. Yeah.
Well, this is interestingly, and I want to come back to what the we started talking about, but you took it to customers that aren't acting nice, because that happens. And Lee did not even know what my notes are. And the next episode, that's what this was going to be about. So, Lee, I'm going to take the two comments or questions that I have set aside for next episode because you're already there. Someone sent in a question, said, how do we deal with difficult customers that are not nice? The second one, how do we deal with customers that become verbally abusive? And so this is interestingly, that was lined up and you ended up talking about it anyway. And I do think it wraps into the conversation we are already having about having standards for customer service.
Yeah. And I think you make a decision personally to deal with all customers exactly the same way, professionally. And even with law enforcement, we're having all these problems with law enforcement getting triggered and getting mad and blah 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 blah. They just need to get in the same situation. I mean, it's psychological, it's emotional, and you've got to just know it's not personal. It's just it's them, it's the person, it's not you, and you don't want to become a part of that situation. And you got to be the bigger person, the better person, the person who resolves and calms things down, not stirs them up. And you can do that. The calm person in a situation like that can bring total discipline to a situation. And and the thing I would worry about even more these days, people are so upset and aggravated and having a rough life that violence occurs. Literally, you got to always be thinking about it. You don't know who you're dealing with. And so just keep it professional. Next thing you know, the guy's got a gun. I mean, people are crazy, or they've been drinking, or they're on drugs, or they're unhappy, or they're getting a divorce. You don't know. So just keep it cool, calm, and collected, and treat everybody the same, even the ones you would love to slap upside the head. Don't do it.
That brings in a Cockerell quote that comes from volume 25 of the Main Street Leader. Lee Cockerell said, "Usually it's not the problem that is the problem, it's how you handle the problem that becomes the problem."
I think that's right. So often we get a problem and it could take you just dealing with it in a positive way to go away in a couple of minutes. But sometimes we get our ego gets the best of us. We want to win. We don't want our boss to find out we're dealing with a tough situation. We've had a bad day ourselves. And so we are triggered emotionally for no reason. So, and then the problem gets bigger. It was a little problem. Then you got everybody stirred up. Now they want to see your boss. They want to go to they want to file a charge. They want to go to the newspaper. They want to file a lawsuit. They want to go on social media and tell the world what a jerk you are. It was a little problem that you let get gigantic. Let it go. That's all. Just let it go. Don't stir it up.
So let's walk this back to the very beginning of the episode. It's 4:34 p.m. You're looking forward to closing the door at 5, getting out of there at 5:01, and a customer walks in. Your first thought is we close at 5 p.m. But what is it you should say in that situation?
Oh, I wouldn't. I'm glad you came in today, and we're having a great time. And I'm not going to talk about the closing time. People are there to do business with me. If you want to, after you come in, I might go over and lock the door, put a sign up, say we're closed. But you're in, and once it's like this happens all the time. People are annoyed, and people should be happy that you came in. That's the name of the game. But people have their own self-interest, and a lot of people just in general just want to go home, want to get out of there. And maybe we don't have the right culture in that organization where people are glad to see you and happy to see you and have been trained to give extraordinary service. And because if you run into that kind of person, they would never say that. They would just be happy and smiling because you stay in role. You're the show is not over until 5, and the show is not over until there's nobody else but you there by yourself. And you got to remember that the curtain must close before you can go be a jerk. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. My daughter, having grown up with Lee's voice in her ear for so many years, and now she's a seasonal park aide at a park, actually the park she grew up in, which is a pretty fun story as it is. But she came to me the other day. I haven't even told you this yet, Lee. She came to me the other day and said, I feel like I have a conflict at work because I've heard everything Mr. Lee has talked about and told me about how to treat people and how you have to do a good job no matter what. But I feel like my coworkers want to cut corners sometimes.
She sees
So
that. That's the difference. She sees it, and that's good. because she's going to start to observe those things, and that's why people will say, positive things about her over time. They'll say, well, she's different than the others, and that's where you want to be. Tristan and I, my grandson who's staying with us now, is doing his internship. We talk about that every day. That person who goes the extra mile, we all know who they are, and they get special when they want a day off. They might get it because they're that person, or when they want a special favor, they were probably the first one to be promoted or to get a good recommendation. When one day she asked for one, that for a job 5 years from now, and they said, wow, she was our best employee, and she was so great, and she was attentive, and she always professional. It builds on itself, and that's why you want to get those good habits early. And not saying it's closing time. It's like, no, we're not going to tell you that. In fact, you probably have that sign on the door already. They know what time it is. You're sending them a message: get with it, find out what you want, and get out of here. And don't
Yeah.
order something that takes too long to cook. Restaurants are famous for this, the waiters being mad when somebody walks in at 10 to 10 or 10 to 9. And yeah, that diminishes
Yeah.
their tips.
Yes, it does. What one time even this I guess this is related. We were in Florida. I was with my cousin and we walked in a pizza place over in the Melbourne area. And as soon as we walked in the door, it's maybe 15 minutes until they close. And of course, they said what time they close. And we said, can we get a large pepperoni pizza? And he said, no, too close to closing time.
What?
I know.
I
That's
would
what
have
we
had a
thought.
talk with the owner somehow. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the problem too. You don't know what people are actually doing. And that's why you need to be checking and finding out, and find different ways to know what's really going on in your business when you're not there, and having friends and family, and to check it, and to run by make sure this is not happening. Because if they said that at closing time, God knows what they're saying during the day when they're fully open. uh, you know it's just
Yeah.
it's a sad, it's unprofessional. That's what it is. And
Yeah. Which, which is,
if you go the if you're that employee that goes all the way and more, you will, over time, it pays off. That employee who says, no, you can't, that person's on the track already to have not a very good life and career, because they've got an attitude problem that apparently they don't get it. So they better listen to the Main Street Diary and our Main Street Leader and our, because like your daughter, she's young, she knows. She already knows. Because once you know, you can't, somebody said, once you're enlightened, you can't go back in the dark. And you see things because you know. And that's why enlightenment and education, training, discipline, doing an internship, those are great. That's that enlightenment. Wow, that's the way you do it. And we all need to be setting a good example so these young people get the right message about professionalism too. The boss doesn't be the person who's creating the poor attitude, the poor reason for role modeling. We always talk about how important it is. They're watching you, and that's where we learn. We know children do, and I think, you got a manager and people are in a business. Uh, that business will behave as well as the manager's clarity of how we do things here. We're different. We're not like a place down the road. This is different. And that store will have more business. It will. Over time, it'll have more business. What do we go? We go back to places where they're glad to see us. I said, why do I go to my coffee shop every morning and pay $6 or $7 for a coffee? Because they like to see me. you know, we all like to go to places where we're welcome, and they're glad to see you, glad to have you come in. And don't underestimate that, because people are very isolated these days, and they're talking a lot about isolation and how bad it is. And get out, go to places. It'll raise your spirit, raise your attitude. They're glad to see me, and I'm glad to see them. So You're lucky you got a dog. He's glad to see you, so you don't have to go too far.
Oh, there's nothing better than coming home and walking in the door and having your dog run up to you. That's right.
You can just go back outside and come back in again, and he's happy again. So you don't have to go far. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
mentally encouraging for everybody to have those really nice uh, experiences where people are happy to see you, and it's just an environment that's important.
and I would even say there's never a time it's not important, but you can really make a difference at the beginning of the day or the very end of a day because you don't know what someone's day has been like. And then they walk in at 4:34, you could turn their day around for them. Or if you're rude to them, you just, like Lee was saying, you don't know what mental state they're in, and you just don't understand what could happen by your how professional you are or are not.
And if you really want to learn, I sit at my stool in Coffee for the Soul every morning. And it's quite observe each customer that comes in. Some come in, oh man, they're not happy. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the difference one after the other of the interactions and that people have. And somebody say you'll get better service if you give better service. So I'm all they people are nice to me because I'm always up and hey, how you doing? Good. And yesterday, I don't know if I told you this, but the barista came up to me. Did I tell you this? I was sitting with another guy. We were having a conversation. Oh, Jeff Marriage, and we were having a conversation. I said, this relationship thing, how important it is. And the barista came over and he said, Mr. Cockerell, I just want to tell you this is my last day. I'm going to another Coffee for the Soul that's opening. And I just want to tell you, it's been a pleasure to be your barista. You know, yeah, there you go. It's been a pleasure to be your barista.
That is fantastic.
Isn't it?
How many places would do something like that?
I don't know, but I was taken back myself.
Yeah.
And even in a
Well,
store, any place you shop, when they say, "Well, it's really great to take care of you. I'm glad you came in. Thank you very much. Ask for me next time." I mean, that's important. That's a big deal.
it is. Yeah, it's great. And we've mentioned this before. Good examples, Chick-fil-A, Publix, both very good at just because the amount of customers that come through are very high, and yet they will look for ways to make it personal or have individual interactions.
Absolutely.
Well, if you want to get a taste of what it's like to have a company treat every customer, every interaction professionally, call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner. You can reach them at 407-442-2694. Let them know you're looking to go on vacation, or just let them know that Lee Cockerell said that they would treat you professionally and you just wanted to check for yourself. Now, Lee also mentioned the Main Street Leader. You can find that at cockerellstore.com or go directly to mainstreetleader.com, and it's only $10 a month, probably the best deal out there that you will find. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.